Okay. So good morning. Um, Thank you for joining this early morning session. Let me introduce myself first. So myself, Vijay, I'm having more than 18 years of experience in IT industry. And I work for multiple customers and delivered good number of projects across the globe on different technologies. Currently I'm playing the role of senior architect in one of the MNC companies in India. I deliver trainings not just for IT professionals, but also to business users on no-code, low-code platforms. It's like PowerApps or Power Automate or Power BI. And from the testing perspective, there is a Tosca tool, which is a very good demand in the market. Okay, so these are the technologies I train, but coming to my experience, it's completely on Microsoft technologies, which includes .NET, SharePoint, and then now into this Power Platform area. Okay, so I'll be your instructor for this training on Power Platform. So let's get started. Uh, so this is the overall agenda for today. So introduction to Power Platform, introduction to Power Apps, and on high level, I'm going to talk about what is SharePoint, what is Dataverse, and what is Power Automate. Okay, so I didn't plan any demo, but I'll show you how the Power Apps interface will be, in this session. And the last topic, Q&A, then we can close this session. So, target audience for this course, students who wants to learn new technology. Yes, they can join and they can learn this course. And developers or support team members, for example, if there are any people who are working on support activities, it can be .NET application or Java application. For them, this is a good tool to switch from support activities to development activities. So that's where I mention IT engineers, admin, and support here. Okay. So, and also business users, managers, analysts to understand what is a Power Platform. Okay. Now, this course is not suitable for if your focus is not on low-code tools and if you're not interested in hands-on learning approach, and if you're not going to commit to finish your assignment. So these things are very important before you join this course. And what prerequisites are required for this course? So there is no prior knowledge on Power Platform is required. No coding skills, programming skills required, because this is a low code, no code tool. Yes, you are going to write little bit code, but most of the time we are going to work on drag and drop features. And basic knowledge on Excel, Word, functions would be beneficial, but it is not necessary because, as I said, we are going to write a small amount of code. That code is exactly similar to the functions that you use in Excel or Word. Okay. So that's why if you have that knowledge, then it will be benefit. Otherwise, it is not required because I'm going to start from a very beginning. And must and should, you need to have a very good computer with good internet connection, because I don't want any interruptions when I say something, and if you're not able to listen, that will be a problem. Okay. And from my side, I'm going to teach real-time concepts that will be directly useful at your work. And I'm going to, keep this course up to date. For example, if there are any new features, recently Microsoft, added a couple of features to the Power Platform from Jan 2024. So those features also I'm going to teach, and you will get lifetime access to videos, and must and should, the important thing, interview guidance. Because this course, I'm not going to, just for teaching purpose. It's not like that. It is main focus is job oriented. Like if people are not in job, my focus is yes, they must get the job. That's the first thing. And if they are already in the job, as I said, there are people with the support experience, but they'll not be able to move to any other development areas. So this course And this course approach is also in that way. Okay. And I want you guys to be on time to the class and also regular to the class. And whatever the assignments I give, make sure you are going to complete it. And whatever the questions I ask, please try to respond. Okay. So with that, let's start. So Power Platform overview. So in this section, what we are going to understand is what is Power Platform and what are the tools inside and what are the core components of Power Platform that we are going to understand, and how it adds value to business. Why businesses they need to choose this Power Platform as their one of the IT products. So that we are going to understand now. So imagine you take any customer. The data is spread across multiple systems in their company. You take any company, even IT services company or non-IT company or any industry. They have data which is available at multiple systems because one tool will not solve all the problems. Okay, so they use Microsoft 365 products, for example, Office, Word, or SQL, or maybe some front-end applications. So they use n number of applications, and to maintain resources, they use some kind of human resources related systems like SAP or there are enterprise resource management planning system. There are n number of systems. So your data is across all these apps. I don't say apps, but your data is spread across multiple data sources, n number of data sources. When I say n number of data sources, there are minimum 1,000 data sources out there, minimum 1,000 data sources. So now when your data is in all these data sources, what should be your focus? As a, let's think from the business perspective. If they want to build any application, it's not that they need to get data from one particular data source and then develop application. There is a need to interact with all these different data sources, and you need to build app in such a way that it will interact with multiple data sources and it will show you the data. So this is just one diagram how customers wants to build their apps across different data sources. Okay. So now let's understand what is Power Platform. Now the data is across multiple data sources. So we are saying a Power Platform or specifically Power Apps is a no-code, low-code tool, or Power BI is a no-code, low-code tool, or Power Automate is a no-code, low-code tool. Nothing but you are not going to write anything here. Simply you are going to connect to data source and then you are getting the data, right? So that connection is happening through these data connectors. There are inbuilt connectors available. With those inbuilt connectors within the Power Platform, there are inbuilt connectors available. Using those connectors, you are going to connect from Power BI, connect from Power Apps, connect from Power Automate, connect from Power Virtual Agents. So you're going to connect from these products and then you are getting the data and displaying it here. So Power Platform is one of the world's leading no-code, low-code Power Platform. And just think, what is Power BI? So it's a low-code, no-code platform for analyzing data. You're going to analyze your data using Power BI. And you are going to build solutions. So solutions are nothing but applications. So you are going to build applications with the Power Apps. And you are going to automate your tasks and processes using a Power Automate. Okay. And also you can develop intelligent chatbots using Power Virtual Agents. So these are the four main products within the Power Platform. Okay. So now when you are going to use a Power BI to generate business intelligence reports, or when you are going to use a Power Apps to develop your applications, or Power Automate to automate your processes, end of the day, the important thing is the data, right? So to connect with the data, you have data connectors. And I'm going to talk about this common data service. It's not a common data service now, it's a data verse. Okay, I'll talk about this later. So your data is spread across multiple data sources, right? So here, that spans across Office 365, Azure, Dynamics 365, and the standalone applications. These are the couple of examples of data sources I gave, but there are more than 1,000 data sources available in the market. Okay, so using the data connectors, you are going to connect, from these tools, and then you are going to build business intelligence reports using Power BI. You are going to build apps very quickly with Power Apps, and you can automate your processes using Power Automate. Now, what is this common data service or a data verse? See, as I said, your data is spread across multiple data sources. What if you are going to start a new application? Your data is nowhere. Of course, you have the employee data or maybe some users information you have. But if you are going to build a new application, the best approach is, you need to have, or you can create your data in the dataverse, because Power Platform has its own database. That is what this dataverse. Okay, you can connect to that particular data source, which is inbuilt, and you can create your own tables, and you can insert data, and then you can interact with the data from these tools. Okay, so this is if you want to connect the data outside Power Platform, and there is a data inside Power Platform that is within the dataverse. Okay, and this is a pretty much fast because there is no connector. Connector means it's again some piece of program. Okay, in order to execute that program, it takes a little bit extra time. So from the performance point of view, Dataverse is much faster. And if your data is in other places, either you need to bring the data to Dataverse, or you can directly connect to the data using these connectors. Okay, so this is the tools on high level, whatever I discussed just now. Yes, Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents. So there is not, I don't need to cover anything additional here. You can go through this slide. I'm going to, share this PPT, not entirely. Maybe I'll convert into a Word document, and then I'll share these notes with you. You can go through it. But specifically, what we are going to learn here is Power Apps. Okay. So Power Apps is to build your applications quickly. It can be, there are different types of apps which we are going to learn soon. Canvas apps, model-driven apps, and there are Power Pages. All those things are there. And then you are going to connect with the various heterogeneous systems. So as I said, the data is across multiple systems, right? You are going to connect and then read the data. CRUD means either you create or read or update or delete. All these operations you can perform using these connectors. So you may ask one question, Vijay, if you are going to do all these activities, don't we have any security? Yes, you do have security implemented across all these connectors. So am I going to teach only Power Apps? No, I'm not going to teach only Power Apps. I'm going to give a understanding of Power Automate and some of the examples, real-time examples, how you can use Power Automate. And also I'm going to teach a SharePoint a little bit. Anyway, I'm going to, present the course content in detail. There you will get to know what are all the topics that we are going to discuss under Power Apps. Okay, so these are the Power Platform tools. And the core components, as I said, there are data connectors. Here I mentioned, 675 connectors, but it is more than 675, more than 900, I think, as per the latest update. Okay, so you have the connectors. And if you want to use AI capabilities within the Power Platform, so there is an AI builder, but at this stage, companies, they are not using AI builder much because this is not too much advanced. This is, of course, there are general availability is there. It is not in the preview mode, but companies or resources, they don't have much knowledge on this AI builder area. They are still exploring, but I'm going to teach a little bit on this AI builder also, where we can use this AI builder. And as I said, connectors, Connectors enable you to connect apps, data, and services. What is the difference between apps and services? For example, SAP system is an application and your data is inside that application. You can connect to that and you can get the data. And SharePoint is an application, you can connect to that. And the services means, any Microsoft 365 online services, you can consider it as a service. Or maybe, Gmail is a service, you can connect to Gmail, and then you can get the data. Or Gmail, you can also call it as an application. Okay. So these connectors are like a bridge between your data source and your application or Power Automate flow, or maybe, Power BI dashboard. It allows you to interact with the data sources without any technical or coding knowledge. This is very important. Just you are going to choose the connector and you are going to, perform all those crude operations. So it has more than 900 connectors. This is wrong. It has more than, 900 connectors, both Microsoft apps as well as external services like a Salesforce, Twitter, Google Drive, or maybe any other data sources. Okay, you can connect. The SharePoint, OneDrive, Planner are Microsoft related, and there are other applications also within the Microsoft, for example, SQL or Azure, or maybe Dynamics 365. All these things are Microsoft products. So you can connect both Microsoft and non-Microsoft applications using these connectors. Okay. And Dataverse, as I said, Dataverse is a SaaS version of Microsoft SQL. So SaaS means a software as a service. Okay, you don't need to install anything. You don't need to have any infrastructure. Simply, you can connect to that service, and then you can enjoy the benefits of, SQL server features. Okay, so it's a no-code database. Everything is managed in the cloud, and there is a very good security is enabled at a Dataverse level, field level security. Generally, we have at row level security. For example, there is an employee information. You are going to create your record, employee record. So that record should be visible by only me because it's my record. But even within the record also, what information you can see, what information you cannot see, that security also you can implement at Dataverse, which is not there in the SQL or any other data sources. So as I said, there are more than 900 connectors available. These are the just, sample connectors which are there under Microsoft Power Platform. So this is the list. And this is not the 900 list. Just I took, just a portion of that particular image. And there are more than 900 connectors. You can use these connectors to connect with your data sources. Okay. And what business value it adds? See, first thing, let's simply understand why there is a need or a demand for no-code, low-code tools. Let's say if I ask someone to develop an application in a C# or Java or maybe other programming language, they need to build a user interface. They need to build, pages, and then they need to write a code, and they need to do the unit testing. And then on top of that, testers they need to verify, and then they need to release the product, right? Which is going to take a lot of time. And right now, businesses, they want to reduce their cost. So budget constraints, due to the budget constraints, they want to reduce the cost. And also, they want, though they have a budget, I don't want an application to take 6 months time or 1 year time. If it is a complex application, it takes years also. I don't want, that much delay in delivering my application. I want it very quickly. For example, if I ask it today, yes, by tomorrow EOD, or maybe after 7 days, or maybe within a month. So no-code, low-code tools are the right tools for these kind of requirements. And business expectations, as I said, they want it very quickly. And if you want to automate all the processes, if you want to connect with all these different data sources, if you are going to write a code, it's going to take a lot of time. Microsoft, they already did that all the work, and they gave in the form of connectors. Just you need to consume and then use it. And there is a very good collaboration between IT and the business teams. Business teams means, they are the people who generating the business to the company. IT is just a supporting function to business teams. But in IT services company, IT is the business unit because it is generating the money, right? So in non-IT industries, business teams are different. In IT teams, business teams are different. And maintaining the legacy system is licensing and lot of resource consumption is there. So you can upgrade and you can shift to new technology. That is another business value using a power platform. Okay. And shadow IT governance. This is in the aspect of business users, they can develop applications without relying on IT, right? So they are like a shadow IT to their IT applications by using this power platform and leveraging existing technology, and then security and compliance. For example, whatever the technology it's already there, you no need to dispose completely and then create from scratch. You can connect to the existing apps, and then you can build your apps very quickly. Security compliance, obviously, all the applications they follow any organization security and compliance guidelines. So that's the business value. And so this is the summary what we have learned. What is Power Platform? What are the tools and core components? How it adds value to the businesses. So definitely there are good number of interview questions in this area. I mean, what are the tools and core components? What is the dataverse? Or you can simply define what you understand. So Power Apps means, yes, it's a quick application development tool for building applications, and there are different types of apps. Maybe that we will discuss in the later section, but this is the summary what we have learned till now. Any questions here? Monica, Vikas, Lakshmi, Prakash, any questions? See, you need to be interactive in these sessions, Vikas or Monica or anyone. If you want to get a job, you need to speak, you need to tell what your understandings, or you need to tell what you didn't understand. Okay. Shall I move to the next topic?
Yes.
So, in general, you take any application. Application architecture is like you have a user interface. Just now we discussed, right? My data is in 100 data sources, so that is a data source. Okay, keep it aside. Now, if you want to read that data, you need to have a user interface, right? Without user interface, you are not going to connect that particular data. And similarly, your data on the backend entities are nothing but tables. These tables, they have a relationship. I mean, relationship in the sense, for example, there is an employee table and there is a leaves table. Is there any relationship? Is there or not? Yes, employee is going to create those leaves. So those kind of relations, or maybe customer orders or order items. Okay, all these are different entities and then relationships between those entities. And it's not just a user interface and your data, you are going to implement some kind of rules. For example, let's say if I'm going to register for my vote, whether I'm 18 plus or not, that's a business rule. So these kind of business rules, that's a very simple, basic example I gave. So going forward, we will get to understand what are all these business rules. Or maybe let's say you are going to order something in your Flipkart or Amazon. What happened during the festival season once? Um, Someone from the Flipkart side, they ordered. I'm just giving a Flipkart or Amazon. Let's not talk about this Flipkart or Amazon. Let's take there are two big e-commerce websites are there. Okay. So during the festival season, one e-commerce team, what they have done, they ordered thousands of items, and then after season is over, they return those items. Of course, they are not, not ethical practices, but that happened in real time. So unless you implement some kind of business rules, you will be ended up in the losses. So that's why businesses are very careful in defining these business rules. Okay, so from the user interface perspective, yes, we have a Power Apps to build applications, or just think Power Apps is just an interface. You're developing a user interface. Common data service which contains entities and relations. Does my data only in common data source service, or now we can call it as a dataverse? Does my data only in the dataverse? No, it is in non-Power Platform data sources as well. Understand this word, non-Power Platform data source, because a dataverse is within the Power Platform. Anything outside the Power Platform, I will call it as a non-Power Platform data sources. So your data can be in the SharePoint. Again, non-Power Platform data source, you can divide it into two ways. One is a Microsoft and non-Microsoft. Just from the understanding perspective only, I'm telling this. And then to implement your business rules, you have Power Automate flow. So you can implement those business rules. Why do I need to implement only in the Power Automate flow? Why not in the Power Apps? You can also do it in the Power Apps, but the separation is a very much important. If you want to, implement any strong or if you want to build any complex applications or large applications, uh, the more you divide the application is more benefit you get, because you can assign that particular module to within your team, and if there are any issues you can fix only within that module. So that modular design is very important. So Power Apps is mainly for user interface, common data service or dataverse, or maybe other non-Power Platform data sources. This particular layer occupies, and your business rules you can implement partially in a Power Apps and fully into Power Automate flow. So here we will understand what is Power Apps and what are the features of Power Apps and the different types of apps we have in Power Apps. See, this is the demo class. I'll be little fast here. Um, Once you see the course content, you will understand what I'm going to teach in detail. Because for Power Platform fundamentals, I'm going to teach again what is Power Apps and what the features and different types of apps. For you to give just an idea what is a Power Apps, I'm going to teach here. It will be little bit fast, but to try to understand. Okay. So Power Apps is a no-code, low-code platform for building a data-driven business applications. See, you need to. I don't ask you to, by heart these definitions, but once you understand the concept, it will be very easy to remember these definitions. Okay, so anything under Power Platform is a no-code, low-code. Okay, so Power Apps is a no-code, low-code. You can call it as an application development platform, or you can call it as a platform, or you can also say it gives power to users to build applications quickly. Okay, you can call it however you like. Okay, but definitions you need to remember based on your understandings, so that it will be easy for you to talk in the interviews. So Power Apps is a no-code, low-code platform for building data-driven business applications. Any application, do you see um, for personal use, any applications? Do you have any application on your own? For example, let's say personal assistant. There are a couple of apps, or maybe some tasks app. It is not designed only for you. It's some business idea behind that. You can take a Swiggy or maybe any other applications. So understand this terminology, business applications. You need to think it like a business application. Okay. And whether it is driven by data or not. Any application in this world, it is driven by data. That's why I called, you know, data-driven applications. So Power Apps is a no-code, low-code platform for building these data-driven applications. Okay. And these are the features of PowerApps. So it's a very simple to use. There is no coding necessary or even required. I mean, you are going to write a small amount of code. Vijay, you're saying it's a no-code, low-code tool. I'm also saying it's a low-code tool. See, there are few applications you can, quickly develop without writing a single line of code. I'll show it to you. And there are applications where you need to write little bit code. So it's not that completely zero code. You're going to write a little bit code, but most of the time it's a drag and drop system. You are going to drag the controls, and you will see, once you see one live demo, you will understand how intuitive is this Power Apps. Okay, and it is a part of Microsoft ecosystem. What is the advantage when it is a part of Microsoft ecosystem? Let's imagine, maybe your computer, yeah, there is a, iOS operating system is there, but most of the computers are Windows based or Windows Server based, right? Is it from Microsoft or not? Because it is from Microsoft, whether Microsoft has more control on the operating system or not. For example, if I'm a third party guy, if I need to interact with any of the keyboard keys or maybe some kind of operating system hidden functionality, it will be difficult for me. Maybe I need to take the license, I need to pay more money, or I need to understand Microsoft um, code, and then I need to build application to integrate with that. But for Microsoft, it's a very easy. So why I'm saying Microsoft it's easy, because they developed that applications, right? It can be operating system is also, it's a main program. It's also one main application. On top of that, you have all these small applications. It can be your Word or Excel or maybe whatever the software you install on top of operating system is again a small application on top of your main application, that is nothing but your main operating system. Okay, so because it is a part of Microsoft ecosystem, um, it gets a very good demand, going forward. There is a robotic process automation, they call it as. For example, um, I want to open a browser and I want to access some website, and I want to take the screenshot of that website and I want to keep it in some place. That's my daily work, let's assume. Vijay, do we have such kind of works? Yes, business users, they do such kind of works also. And, there's a IT, um, um, this for support tickets, generally, they use a service now. Okay, in service now also there are some kind of reports. That was my recent project requirement. My they are asking, okay, Vijay, we have a data and reports across different systems. ServiceNow is one of the systems. I want to display that ServiceNow report in the Power App. I want you to display some thumbnail icon, and clicking on it, it should open a report. So this thumbnail should represent that report. So what we have done is, yes, we used the Microsoft Power Automate flow, desktop flow. We will understand what is desktop flow, all those things later. So we used Microsoft Power Automate, which will open the browser and it will open that particular URL, and then it takes the entire screenshot and then it uploads to the SharePoint. And then from SharePoint, anyway, we are using Power Apps to connect to, and then display the information. Because of SharePoint and the service now, these two are completely different platforms. We have to, take this approach. If it is within Microsoft, maybe we can use a couple of, APIs or maybe inbuilt actions to take the screenshots. Because this one is a completely different system, we have to go with, Power Automate desktop flow. And these Power Apps, they can run on any computer, anywhere, nothing but even in mobile devices also. And there are hundreds of connectors. Now you can also say thousand. Okay, hundreds of connectors are there, and you can build responsive apps, and it also supports for customization. Okay, you no need to compromise at your UI. You can build your own UI, so you can implement those customizations as well, and you can implement a business logic, and with that you can build custom applications. And there are different types of Power Apps. One is a Canvas app, model driven app, and Power Pages. What are the differences between these, apps? So Canvas or best and great option when you want to build an app from a blank canvas. See, blank canvas means a completely white screen. Let's assume, completely white screen, and you can start from label. You can define this label. You can define this label. You can add your own controls. All those things, it is completely within your hands, and you can build application. Okay, so you have your data and you have your own design. You don't want to go with out of the box templates or out of the box UI given by Microsoft. Then you need to go with Canvas app selection. And within the Canvas apps also at the control level, there are some different controls. I'll explain you slowly. So you can define and you can build your UI as you like using Canvas applications. Model-driven applications. I told you right that there is a Power Platform data source, or you can call it as a common data service, or you can also call it as a dataverse. Right now, use the terminology dataverse, but if someone says during the interviews common data service, let's assume it's a dataverse only or Power Platform data source. If you have the data within your Power Platform, then model-driven applications are best option because you have data and there are out-of-the-box templates with the model-driven. You can quickly, within minutes also, you can build applications and you can use those model-driven apps within your company. Okay. So, but the UI is the same. You are not going to have that much flexibility in terms of customizations. Okay. Model means it's a data model. Don't think something else there. Data driven, model driven. Okay. So it's a model driven apps. And this is one of the examples of model driven app. So this is how it looks. These kind of these applications you can, of course, these are Power BI reports. Once you have the Power BI report, you can integrate within the Power Apps, or you can integrate inside Canvas apps or inside the model driven apps. Okay. And there is a Power Pages also. Um, if you want to build any external pages, for example, these are Power Apps or Power Apps means within that you have Canvas and model driven apps, right? These apps mainly targeted for business users, nothing but within the company. Let's say if you want to expose your data outside the company, then Power Pages are the best option to build such kind of applications. So best and great fit for external websites. Okay. So that allows users outside their organization to access that information. Okay. And obviously, there is a security. You need to build some kind of security. All those things we can discuss it later. So these are the couple of examples. You can choose template and you can develop your app very quickly. That is a responsive. See, this is how it looks. Power Pages when you open in the desktop, if you open the mobile, and this is how you will get pages. You can create a page and you can add components, a text label, button label, image, video. You can add all those things and you can build these Power Pages very quickly. And so this is what we have learned. We have understood what is a Power Apps. So Power Apps is a tool for developing applications very quickly. Okay. And then we understood the features of Power Apps. It's a no-code, low-code, and it's a drag and drop system. And there are other features also we learned using Power Apps within the Power Apps. And also there are different types of apps we can build: Canvas, model-driven, and Power Pages. So now let's talk about a data model. As I said, here I'm going to talk about a dataverse, not on any other data sources. But once we start the class, I'm going to talk about a SharePoint also in this, so that you will understand how the data model works in SharePoint as well. So here we'll understand what is dataverse and what are the features of dataverse. Um, So Dataverse is like, as I said, it's a SaaS version of Microsoft SQL. You have SQL, you have SQL Server where you can, create your own tables and then apply relationships between those tables. And another version of SQL is Azure. Within the Azure we have. And this one is a completely SaaS version. SaaS means a software as a service. Simply on the browser, you can access this particular Dataverse tables and you can create your own tables and you can implement logic and also you can add security. All and you can also store that particular data even in Azure also. For example, within your table, you are creating a field, let's say some documents, a field you are creating. Okay, or maybe for employee, or maybe for student. Student reports is a field. That that field specific data, nothing but your files. You can store it in any external places also, nothing but within Azure or maybe some other databases also you can store. And you can also integrate with some other external things. And don't worry about this Dataverse. 99% or I don't say 99, 90%, you are not going to work with a Dataverse when you are using Canvas apps. Canvas apps, Dataverse is mainly for model driven. 90% of our requirements on Canvas apps only, not on model driven apps. But you need to understand what is a model driven app, how it interacts with the Dataverse, how you can create a Dataverse table, how you can implement some kind of business rules within the Dataverse from the interview point of view. Because maybe within your company, you don't have the need of Canvas apps, but the interview you're attending, there is a need of model driven apps. Once you speak a little bit about the model driven apps, how it interact with the Dataverse, how you can create a tables, how you can implement relation. If you talk those things, then it will be easy. And how you can use this Dataverse table inside your model driven apps or Power Automate, it will be easy for you to crack the interview. So it's again a no-code database, and storage could be managed and maintained securely by Microsoft, because entire data, whatever you are saving, it is getting managed by the Microsoft. You are not going to touch the server. You are not going to do any installations, all those things. Okay. So so that is what about a Dataverse. It is designed to be a central repository, data repository for your business data at additional license. It comes with the additional license. So this is again another reason why companies, they don't go for a Dataverse. I mean, 90% of the data is already existed, right? So they can simply use a Canvas app and they can use the connectors to connect with those data sources. And it is a scalable data service. Scalable means either you increase the capacity of that particular database or decrease the capacity. So they are inbuilt, available within the Dataverse. So yeah, from features perspective, you have out of the box security. It is tightly coupled with the Azure Active Directory. Nowadays, they are calling it as a Microsoft Entra. And you can implement the business logic, and you can store your data um, across across different tables, and your storage can be even in Azure cloud also. And also you can integrate with external or Microsoft other services, which is like there is Azure Data Lake, and you can also move this data to SQL, or you can move the data from SQL to Dataverse. All these are the different features within the Dataverse, and we will learn this thing in detail later. Okay, so this is what we understood Dataverse and Dataverse features. Any questions?
No.
Okay. So let me move to the next one. Now, Power Automate, I'll go through it quickly. Power Automate is, as I said, This is the Power Automate, and these are the just I gave six or five. Okay, six apps, but you can interact with all those 900 apps. So Power Automate is an online, or you can also call it as a cloud, workflow service that automated tasks and processes the most common apps and services across the most common apps and services. So you have hundreds of apps. You can connect to those apps and you can automate. What kind of tasks I can automate? So let me give an example. Let's say if I receive an email from my manager, maybe I should get a notification to my mobile number. Why? Because to improve the productivity. Very simple. Because let's say if you're working on 100 tasks, you need to understand what is important for me at the time of doing the work. Okay, for example, if there is any email from CEO or maybe someone, it will not happen in the real time. Definitely, we are not going to get the email from CEO unless there is a worst situation. Okay, so if you want to automate certain tasks, yes, Power Automate is the best option. For example, as I said in a previous project, so you need to interact with the service now and you need to take the screenshot. This is the entire flow. So that entire flow you can build using a Power Automate. So Power Automate, it gives power to business users and also developers to create or to automate, some of the tasks and processes that are used inside the businesses, or businesses means across different applications. Okay, it allows us to create flows to automate the tasks and processes. So here the online or cloud service or SaaS means you are not going to install anything. You are directly, accessing this Power Automate within the browser. So that is what online. You're not going to do any installations within your computer. No software required. Nothing. It's a cloud service. Okay, and the flow, Power Automate, as I said here, I mentioned the flow. What is a flow? It's a sequence of actions. For example, let's say um, if if I receive an email, what I need to do, or if there is a post within the Twitter, um, or maybe someone replied to your post. To your post means just think from the company perspective. So, company they have their own Twitter account and they posted something, and if someone reply to that post, automatically that message should captured somewhere in other data source. So all those things are different, activities we can do within Power Automate. So flow means here or workflow means it's a sequence of actions. Okay, nothing else there. And features of Power Automate. It's easy to use, no code. Again, there is no code, completely drag and drop. But there are some kind of expressions you can use within Power Automate, and you can literally connect with all these 900 data sources, and you can create any logic, and also there are approval actions. There are a number of actions available within the Power Automate. You will get to know all those things, and it is a very powerful tool for building, or automating your business processes. So types of Power Automate. Um, So these are the different types of Power Automate. You can build the cloud flows, desktop flows, and business process flows. So we will understand about these flows in detail in later section. So here, cloud flows, there are automated flows, instant flows, and scheduled flows. Automated means when something happened, yes, you want to trigger this flow. Instant means you're going to click it manually and then you're going to run that flow. Scheduled means it runs on particular schedule. And desktop flows, business process flows, we will understand it later. And summary, yeah, we understood what is Power Automate, features of Power Automate, and types of Power Automate. And there are other tools also in the market, but why should I learn Power Platform? See, when you look at the Gartner reports or Foster, what are these reports? For example, when you open something in the Flipkart or maybe in the Amazon, you check for is there any assurance. If Flipkart is giving assurance or Amazon is giving assurance, you are going to buy the product, right? So similarly, in the IT industry, these two, or maybe there might be some other research teams also, Gartner and Forrester. These guys, they do research and they tell to businesses what is best in the industry. So as per their reports, Microsoft you know is improving um, uh, ROI, return on investment. Investment means if business is investing on the tools, they expect some returns. So ROI is very good with the Microsoft tools, and most of the businesses, they are preferring Power Platform. So this is they call it as a magic quadrant. Okay, so here you see Microsoft at a leader position within this enterprise low code application development. Okay, so this is just an exam. I mean, couple of screenshots. I took it from Google. And remember, Gartner and Forster is a licensed one. So I cannot get the latest reports unless I have the license. It's a 2019 data, but even now also, um, it's it's still in the leader position. Okay. And next steps, regular classes are from tomorrow, and I'm going to plan only 5 students per batch. Uh, Batch one, it is for US students. So yesterday, not yesterday, last week, I got a call from US. Of course, they are Indians only, not US citizens. So they need classes a little bit early. So for them, I'm going to start at 6 a.m. and 8:15 to 9:30. This is to cover our, within India, or there are few persons they want to join from Singapore. So for them, this 8:15 to 9:30 batch. But anytime it's only 5 students, not more than that, because as I said, this is a completely hands-on learning. I want to understand what every student is doing, and ultimately my goal is either they need to get the job or they need to switch to this Power Platform area from their support roles or admin activities. And excluding weekends, it's going to take a 30 days, nothing but 1.5 month. I'm not going to take any classes on Saturday, Sunday, because I want you guys to practice whatever we learned from Monday to Friday. Daily practice is required and a weekly practice is required. See, remember one thing, if you're going to try, or if you are going to put experience on Power Platform, you must practice very well. Okay. Without that, you are not going to talk confidently. So if you need to talk confidently in this area, yes, you need to practice it very much. Okay. So that is what this session. Let me stop my sharing, or let me stop recording.